Hello everyone, welcome to our podcast. I'm Niko Prakasa Anandadea and this is my friend.
I'm Colin Sohadi.
So without any further ado, let's jump right into the podcast.
Okay, so we are going to talk about our first living and of course studying experience here in Germany.
Okay, great. So for the records, we are undergraduate students from Universitas Atmajaya Yogyakarta and we are studying here for 5 months.
Yes, and we are studying in Technische Universität Ilmenau. It is the name of our university here in Germany, and it is located in the free state of Thuringia and Germany, of course.
Of course, yeah. So, Colin, what are the topics we're going to talk about today?
Yes, okay. So, of course, we're going to talk about our class experience, the class dynamic, and the campus administration here in TU Ilmenau. But of course, we're going to talk about the fun stuff. For example, we attended some intercultural event, and we also explored another city outside of Ilmenau and another country outside of Germany.
Okay, yeah, so let's jump right into it. When we first arrived here, we arrived at the Frankfurt airport. This was dated back when I arrived at the October 5th, 2022, and I still have to wait a few hours until Colin arrived in October 6th, 2022. After that, we used this train called DB train or Deutsche Bahn train. We used this like an ice train, fast train to arrive at Ilmenau for about 3.5 hours drive.
Yes, but apparently we have to do one stop in Erfurt. So Erfurt is actually the capital city of Thuringia. And so we take the DB train from Frankfurt Airport to Erfurt, and then we take the regional train from Erfurt to Ilmenau.
Yeah, after we arrive at Ilmenau, our student buddy picked us up at the train station and guided us to the campus and to our dormitories to basically get us settled here.
Yes, and our student buddy name is Jenny.
Shout out to you, Jenny, for watching. Thank you so much for guiding us.
Yes, so of course she guided us, as Nico said before, to do our campus administration, to our dormitory. And of course the first thing that we have to do here is we have to have internet on our phone. So she also told us where we could buy our SIM card and also the nearest supermarket, because of course we need to buy food to stock up. So those two are the first place that we visit here when we arrive here in Ilmenau.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so as what Nico said before, we have to do our campus administration. So that is the next step of our first arrival here. So what do you remember about our campus administration?
Okay, so a few days after we arrived here, I remembered that we had an appointment with our Erasmus Plus coordinator, and then we discussed with them about our grant agreement and everything. And then she also guided us through this We4U association, and she explained that We4U association is basically an international student association here in Ilmenau in the campus. And then the association gave us a lot of information about how to get settled here, such as how to opening up a bank account, how to get our Wi-Fi in our dormitories, but then also how to register in the city, because apparently if we want to stay here for a certain amount of time in Germany, we have to register ourselves in the city where we live here in Germany.
Yes. So of course, that is our next step, is to register ourselves to the city registration. And again, our student buddy Jenny took us to the city registration in the city center of Ilmenau. And of course, it is a really beautiful place. It is also the first time that we visit the city center. It's not too big, not too small, and it felt really peaceful. And it is about a 30 to 35 minutes walk from our campus area. And after we register ourselves in the city registration, we go to the nearest museum. So it is called a Goethestadt Museum, and it's our first experience.
Yeah, so this museum that we visited has a very broad historical Ilmenau perspective that if we want to spend the next 5 months live here, so we want to understand the historical background of Ilmenau, so we explored the museum, and then it's the time to the lunchtime, and then we still kind of miss Indonesian food, so we searched and explored the city where to find restaurant that have some Asian menu, and then we found some Asian restaurant that sell nasi goreng.
Yes, as Nico said before, we want to feel a little bit familiar with Indonesian food, because I think it's a lot of culture shock at first, so we wanted to experience something familiar. And we found this Asian restaurant, and it is our first experience also trying nasi goreng in Germany. And for me personally, it's not too bad, but it's not the same nasi goreng that you will taste in Indonesia, but it is quite good. And actually, I think that it's a little bit expensive for student budget, but the portion is also quite huge. So I think maybe it's kind of worth the money.
Yeah, it is. For the records, nasi goreng is basically fried rice. This is the Indonesian name of the fried rice. We call it nasi goreng. So yeah, compared to big city like Frankfurt or Berlin, the food there is like very expensive. Here we can get for around €6, but there the prices were like for the food in the big cities like €10 up. So it's kind of worth the money. But considering we're a student, maybe we can buy this food like once a month or everything to go to the restaurants. And it's worth considering.
Yes. So that is our experience, the trouble that we have the first few days here in Ilmenau. And I guess after a few weeks, we kind of already get bored with Ilmenau itself because it's not that big of a country, so big of a city. But also then we decided that we wanted to explore another city in Thuringia. So where do we go?
Yeah, we go in Erfurt, Weimar, and Arnstadt. For Erfurt, because some of the lecturers from our home universities, she is Miss Desi Murthy. Shout out for you, Miss Desi. She arrived here in the Ilmenau to do this lecture program for about a week or more, and she had this free time, so she asked us to go to this exploring the new cities of Erfurt, and we went there with her, and so we exploring the city. It's very beautiful, Erfurt, I gotta say. But after that, in the next day, both of without Miss Desi, we went to Arnstadt and Weimar. However, Arnstadt, we think that it doesn't have much to offer because it's more like only like a highway with a local home and everything. But some of our colleagues here and our friends told that in Arnstadt there's this place of
so there is an Indonesian citizen in Arnstadt, and she opened a nasi padang restaurant. And actually, unfortunately, the first time that we visit Arnstadt, we didn't know that it exists, so we didn't get to try it. But our Indonesian friends said that it tastes really good. It's similar with the nasi padang in Indonesia, but yeah, we haven't tried it.
Yeah, it is quite expensive also, but it's worth considering if you want to taste Indonesian food here in a foreign country.
Yeah.
You have to spend that money, so it must be worth it. Yeah. After that, we went to Weimar. So Weimar is this like a very unique, very classic building. Also, we like Weimar though, and if we can recommend, we would recommend you personally Erfurt and Weimar.
Yes. Okay, so that is about exploring and the registration and all, and finally the week where the semester began. And of course, our first week in this semester is kind of chaotic because we have a lot of information that we didn't know before. For example, in here we also have to register on the Moodle ourselves for each course, and sometimes the list of the students that we have and the lecturer have is different, so there's a lot of confusion on our first week in our studying. But finally we get some information and we got there taken care of. And other than that, I think the class here is kind of different. The system is kind of different from what we have in Indonesia. So in here, some students can also register themselves to attend the class fully online. So some classes has hybrid class, some of them only has online, and some of them is on site. And also we have this system called block classes. So for a whole semester, we only have 6 meetings, but one meeting could be around how many hours?
Like 5 to 6 hours a day.
So it's a long session, but we also have a break in between the session.
I mean, some of the class that we took here also have similar methods as is in our home countries in Indonesia. We have some like on-site learning plenary session, and we also have an online plenary session. It depends on the lecturer. And speaking about the dynamics of the class, when we first encountered this, we met our colleagues and friends from all over the world basically. So there's this kind of like culture shock of like, Oh my God, they're very active in class. When in our home university back there, the people are mostly scared out to ask or share their opinions to the lecturer. So they're mostly just sit and listen to the lecture. Where here, everyone just like raise their hand instead, but to ask something about to their professor or debating sometimes. It's very, very culture shock for us, but it's a very good insight for us.
Yes. Next up, we are going to talk about our intercultural experience here in Ilmenau. And our first intercultural event is Diwali. It is a Indian festival of lights, because I think what I realized is that there are a lot of Indians here in Germany. There's really, really a lot of them. I even have an Indian roommate myself. She's really nice. And they have like a whole community, and they attended this intercultural event called Diwali.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. Basically, Diwali is like known as the Festival of Light. We had it like in one campus of facilities. There's a lot of people there. The Indian culture, they give this performance and door prize quizzes sometimes, and there's a lot of international students join. And I think it's really fun because we get to meet a lot of people there. And some of them are coming from Mexico, Pakistan, and Colombia, and also Japan. Of course, India, as Colin has mentioned. And it's very, very awesome to meet all of them and to interact with them and to gain a connection and have a friendship with them. Yeah, and we also dance together in a circle as far as I remember. It's very, very great time.
Yeah, but I think the highlight for me is that I really like the food. And I remember my roommate saying that they are trying to tone down their food because they're afraid that we might think that it's too spicy, but for me it's already really good.
Yeah, I mean, overall the event is very, very awesome for us. First experience a Diwali event here, and I think it's a place where we get the opportunity to socialize with people from all over the world.
Other than Diwali, we also have another event that it's not really an intercultural thing, but it is a celebration of a holiday. So we attended Halloween and Christmas party, and I feel like it's really interesting because we didn't really have that in Indonesia, especially for Halloween. I don't think people really dressed up as a costume and arrive at a party, and I think it's a really interesting experience.
Yeah, when we attending this Halloween event, we get to see a lot of people who dressed up in their very unique costumes. Some of them wearing like a mask, a cape, a fake blood, and then the horn and full of costume. It's very, very awesome and fascinating to see. And they're also located in the clubs in the campus area. For the records, some of the dormitories here has their own clubs. So these cultural events or intercultural events sometimes held in the clubs itself. So it's just very, very close and very, very near to the campus area. It's very, very awesome. Yeah, there's in the Halloween there's a lot of DJ, colorful lights, and then everybody's just having good time. We also dancing over there. It's very, very awesome.
Yeah, so if Halloween is more like a party and about dancing and jumping around, for the Christmas party it's more homey and it's more calm and peaceful, and there's a lot of intercultural food there. So for example, from Indonesia, our Indonesian community serve bakwan, of course you know, and I think it always sold out.
Yeah.
Whenever I try to get one, and when they just serve a new one, also everybody just take it and it's gone.
Yeah, even though a lot of people the organizer for that serve food from different countries, bakwan is the most favorite one. Always sold out every time when they serve the food in the event. Well, it's very, very good, and the taste is very, very
it tastes really good.
Really good. Yeah.
But of course, other than the food, there's also other performances. We are singing Christmas song together, and they're dancing. And also there are room full of workshops, so you can build your own soap on the workshop, but there's also other workshops where you can build your own other craft, playing games, memory games, and it's quite fun.
Yeah, for you, if you want to study here, you can experience this thing other than the academic thing. I think it's a great way for you to have a new insight about the event here. I mean, I remember when we attending one of the workshop there, we mixing our soap with different colors and shape. I mean, imagine that. We also have this a memory card game when we just like flip the cards and use the same picture that we can collect that and so on. And after that, we also can do origami, and then there are some people in the workshop also play poker, so it's really, really nice.
Yeah, maybe like if you got bored with the performances or you wanted to just sit down and have fun, you can go to this workshop. But I just remember talking about the performances, we also have a performance from Indonesia, which is out. So we have one lecturer here in Ilmenau, and she is called Miss Mira. She is from Indonesia, but she is already settling here in Ilmenau. And she had this angklung workshop in front of the stage, and she teaches the participants how to play angklung. So she has like a dozen of angklung, and she gave them to the participant and teach them how to play angklung, and it's really amazing.
Yeah, each angklung has their number, and then there's projector shooting at the back of the stages, and then this is like a number for the song of the Christmas. So it's very, very fun when she just noted down at the number, and then people who bring the angklung with certain numbers, they have to play it when she pointed out at the numbers, and then so it's like this is kind of like orchestra of, oh, it's now we're hearing this Christmas song through angklung. So oh my god, it's very, very awesome.
Yes. And of course, talking about Miss Mira, I think the first time that we actually met her is at Indonesian Cultural Night. So that is also, I think, one of the best experience that I have here in Ilmenau, because it is the first time that I'm able to meet a lot of other Indonesian students here, and apparently there are a lot of them, and there are this international student organization called ISWI, and so they wanted us Indonesian students to throw an event that talks about our Indonesian culture, our dances, our Indonesian food, and etc. So we are trusted to be the organizer of the event, and it's really an amazing experience.
It's very, very amazing experience. Yeah, I mean, I help the kitchen when we have this Indonesian Cultural Night. Me and my friends, we cook at the kitchen to serve food for the visitors there. We charge it for about like a 2 and 2.5 euros for the fried one, and for the soup one. Yeah, forget about it. Yeah, we call it in Indonesia it's Indomie goreng and Indomie rebus. Indomie goreng is the Indomie fried noodle, and then Indomie rebus is soup noodle.
Yeah, we don't know what it's called in English.
Yeah.
But yes, so Nico is in the kitchen department and I'm in the decoration. So before the day, me and our group, we buy the decoration, the Indonesian flag, and the photo booth and all that. And unfortunately, for the whole time, Nico have to cook in the kitchen, so he didn't get to see the performances while the event. And I think the performance is really great. There are dances performed by our Indonesian friend, and Miss Mira, the lecturer here, also performed a traditional dance from Indonesia. And she also did a little presentation presenting Indonesian culture, and also the angklung workshop. And I think the participants here really enjoyed it. Even more people come than we expected. I think there are 100, maybe 100 or 200 people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
here. Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, initially I'm a little bit skeptical with her words, because I asked her how the event went, and she said it's very, very good. But after, I'm still skeptical, but after I saw the stories from my friends here on Instagram, it's really, really good performance. So I now really, really believe it. It's very awesome, because I'm in the kitchen all the time.
Yeah, but the good thing is, I think from everyone that I asked in the audience, they said that they really like the Indomie goreng.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
So it's very worth it. Yeah, it's really, really fun activities, the Indonesian Cultural Night and the other activities. But we also attended other events. Do you remember ISWI Kick-Off?
Yes.
Yeah, this ISWI. So this is also other than before. This is an International Student Association here located in the Ilmenau. And we attended that during the first month in Ilmenau. We get to learn about the international organization. We have attended this one workshop called Ilmenau Dialogue Center, where we basically sign up for and see how they try to interact with other people, to understand their language, their culture, and to minimize prejudice, or how to have negative thoughts or other people, try to minimize that. It's very, very awesome workshop.
Yes, so Kick-Off is actually an event that they have to introduce their organization, what kind of event that they are throwing, and we are welcome to ask any questions, to get to know each other. And yes, I remember the Ilmenau Dialogue Center. It is actually really interesting for me because I didn't know that there are such thing as dialogue before I arrived here. But it is really nice to know. But unfortunately, they are not having any events while we are here because I think there is still lack of participant because they just recover from the COVID restriction, and yeah, unfortunately we didn't get to participate.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate, but we met a lot of friends in the kick-off. Some of our friends, we met our new friends he's from Germany. It's called Paul. If you remember that.
Yeah. So he actually have done a volunteer work in Indonesia, specifically in Gili Trawangan in Lombok, and it's really nice.
Yeah, he greeted us with apa kabar, so it's like very shocked and amazed. Oh, did you come now in this Indonesian words? He said that. He said that he went to this volunteer thing.
Yeah, and we met him again when we went to this movie festival done by HSF. So it is like a film club in our campus. So they have this one movie streaming, and we went there and we watched everything everywhere all at once.
That movie,
yeah. So we went there to watch it, and it is attended in one of the classroom in this campus area, and it actually felt kind of like a real movie theater. The scene and the seating, it's really nice, and we met Paul there. But one thing that is quite funny for me is that the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once speaks in Mandarin kind of most of the time, and the subtitle is in Germany. So we didn't understand the Mandarin, we also didn't understand the Germans. So yeah, we kind of got lost in the movie.
Some of the actor and actresses speak in the English word, but again, the speaker sometimes didn't catch their words quite precisely. We were having a hard time to understand what are they saying, but from the action it's kind of very good. So we have to watch it again in our homes about these movies, turning these subtitles to English, and then okay, now we are understanding to the experience, the theaters that the Ilmenau campus building has. So very, very awesome.
Yes, the total experience of attending these events and meeting these new people is really amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I think we already mentioned about the snow in the beginning, so we're going to talk about the snow now. And Colin, what do you think about the snow here? Do you enjoy it?
Well, actually, the first time it is snowing here in Ilmenau, I didn't really enjoy it that much because I was expecting like a really thick snow, like in the movies where you could like play with the snow. But the first snow in Ilmenau is not that thick, and it's kind of making your shoes dirty because it's like crumpled with the soil and it's become dirty. So every time I walk into my dorm, my room, my floor is also dirty. So the first time is I don't really like it. But in the middle of the January, I guess, in the middle of January, it is the time when the snow really is very thick and it's really beautiful, and I love it because you just can really play with the snow. There's a lot of snowmen and snow girl before. We've seen it a lot, and I also tried to build my own snowman, but I didn't succeed because apparently it's quite hard.
Yeah, I think you have to be in a group to make them one big and great and awesome snowman. So yeah, but talking about her experience, yeah, I think since we were kids, we watched this movie called Home Alone. When there's this setting of the snow, we think that it's very awesome to visit and to play with snow. But in personal thing, when we really realize that, we don't realize that we can have our shoes dirty and everything. But it's still very awesome thing to do, because when we also take a stroll here around the campus where there's a lot of snow, there's a lot of snowmen. One of them was holding a beer. I mean, someone made that, so it's very, very unique and very, very, very unexpected. And also there's this snowman that wearing bra, and then the one that have antennas. Like, yeah, it's very awesome.
Yeah. And I think many people would think that when it is snowing, it's very cold. But for me, I think when it's snowing, it's not that cold. It's really cold when before snowing, when there's a lot of wind, that is really cold. But when the time it is snowing, I don't think it's really cold. I think it's still bearable, but the view is really nice. There are a lot of snow everywhere. When you look at the view from afar, in the roof of people's house, there's snow on the tree, and I think it's just a beautiful scenery.
Yeah. I mean, in the snow, there's not much of a wind, but when it's sunny like this, sometimes in outside, when it's the winter season, it gets really windy. It's very, very harsh. The wind is very not acceptable for us. Sometimes I feel like the wind wants to push me when I just take a stroll, but in the snow, not much of a wind, so it's very, very good.
Yes, and my umbrella broke because of the snow.
No way.
It literally, the steel of my umbrella is like bended.
Yeah, it breaks your umbrella, and then there's like it's like a misplaced between the places and umbrellas.
It's really
but
bad.
It's funny. It's really quite funny though.
Yes, and as what Nico said before, is sometimes when it is sunny, it is really cold. For example, right now you can see like it is very sunny. The sun is really bright, but the temperature is around -7 or -8. While when snowing, it's not even that. I think when snowing, it's like 1 or 2. But 2 degrees, it's sunny and it's -7, and it's
very cold.
Yeah, even before the snow began, I think we have reached like -13 Celsius.
Yeah. I mean, the sun here, the sunlight is not really do much anything. It gives us a little bit. I feel like a warm, but the cold is very, very. We can feel it much more than the sunlight.
Talking about the snow, we also experience snow when we are visiting in Prague, right?
Yeah.
So when we visited Prague, at first it didn't snow, but it started to snow, I think, in our first or second day, it snowed. And before Prague, we also went to Berlin, and it also snowed in Berlin, and it is really cold, and we didn't expect that because in Ilmenau it hasn't snowed yet, but in Berlin and Prague it already started to snow, and we didn't prepare because we didn't know that it's gonna snow.
Yeah, and for the record, we do this traveling either in Berlin and Prague during our free time, so there's no class during these days, but we still managed to done our tests and assignments. So after that, we can have our leisure time that we visited these places. Yeah, but in the Prague, unfortunately, because of the weather also, the sky is not really that blue that we have to wear a hat or maybe an umbrella or beanie to prevent the snow falling from our head, but still beautiful.
Yes, it's really beautiful. Prague and Berlin is beautiful, and I think, if you like to explore, it's worth visiting. And of course, we also went to another cities and countries other than Berlin and Prague, because we went to Berlin and Prague in the middle of our semester. So we still have class, but in the meantime, when we go to Berlin and Prague, we didn't have any class at the moment. But we finally had a short winter break on the middle of December until the start of January, and we took that opportunity to explore as many countries as we can. So where do we go?
First of all, thanks to Erasmus Plus and the EU funds that grant us here in studying, so we still have some leftovers to do travel Europe. I think this is very, very eye-opening and life-changing experience for us. We went to some of the countries, specifically here in Germany. We went to other cities other than Ilmenau, as we mentioned before, Berlin, and then we also visited other places. The first one is Czech Republic. We visited Prague, and also here in the winter break we visited Netherlands, and we also visited France and also Italy and Vatican. But to be specific, in the Netherlands we visited Amsterdam, and then in France we visited Paris, and also in Italy we visited quite a lot of cities. We visited Pisa, Milan, and also Venice, Naples, Sorrento, and we also visited Vatican and Rome as well. Don't forget about Rome. We also visited that place.
Yeah, and it's really a great opportunity for us to be able to go to these places, to be able to see Eiffel Tower right in front of my eyes. It is like something that I thought I would only be able to see in the movies. I never really think that I would actually get the chance to see it, but I do. Again, thanks for the Erasmus grant. And I think it's really beautiful and it's life-changing.
Yeah, Pisa also has this Pisa Tower is very awesome. Yeah. and we took a picture, a lot of picture there. But even though we went there for only like 15 days, it's quite short. But yeah, I myself, when we went to the Eiffel Tower and Paris, we also went to the Sacré-Cœur in the Louvre Museum and Colosseum in Rome. It's very awesome. We also in Venice we visited this gondola thing. It's very amazing, and all these experiences are something that we will remember for the rest of our life. It really is.
Yeah. Beautiful. So, what is your favorite amongst all?
I personally enjoy France, specifically Paris. When I visited this place of the museum thing, this called Arc de Triomphe in Paris. So I really like this place because Arc de Triomphe de l'Étoile is one of the most beautiful monument, and has a long historical background on it, because it's tell the stories of how the citizens during that time fought and died for France in French Revolutionary and the Napoleonic Wars. And in the monument itself, we can go to the upstairs and we can enjoy the view of Paris, which is very, very, very awesome. And we get there free and don't have any charge for it, because the monument, if we show that we are a student in European Union countries, we get to the top of the monument for free. It's very beautiful.
Yes, and I think that is like one of the things that we learn traveling across Europe, because some of the monument, I think not because we're student, but because we have a residence visa.
Residence visa, yeah.
Because we have a visa that stated that we are going to study here in Germany and for how long and etc. So we have that as a proof. We always have to bring a visa, your passport, everywhere you go. And we also, when we have that, we get to get into the Arc de Triomphe free because we have that, and also the Louvre Museum. We also didn't have to pay because we have that visa residence. So a tip for you, maybe if you travel everywhere in Europe and you have the residence visa, maybe you could just ask. Maybe they didn't always say that you're going to get into free if you have this, but if you ask, maybe there's a chance.
Yeah, or maybe you can go research on their own website. There's specific websites sometimes they describe that.
Yeah. And you're right. I mean, Arc de Triomphe is it's huge. It's really big, and seeing it from afar is really beautiful. We go there at night, and there's a lot of vehicles going around because it is in the middle of the street, right? Yeah, it's really beautiful. But I think for me, my favorite is, of course, Eiffel Tower. It's really beautiful. I mean, I guess everybody wants to see how Eiffel Tower is really like, and I think that is the highlight for me for the whole vacation. I think Eiffel Tower is really beautiful, but also this Pont des Arts. It's a bridge in Paris. It's also beautiful. But of course, any other places that we visited in Europe is beautiful. Italy, the ocean in Italy is really beautiful. It's really blue and sometimes are green, and yeah, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, one of the greatest remarks we finally get is that we finally can taste the culinary in Italy. So we eat pasta, lasagna, pizza, and other Italian food. It's very delicious and it's very, very good to taste that. It's very
because Italian food is very famous, not just in Italy or in Europe. It's famous in every other country, and everybody loves Italian food. Everybody loves spaghetti and pizza. So yeah, we finally get to taste the Italian food right in Italy, and it's awesome. But I would say that the price is kind of expensive.
It is.
But what makes it expensive, because they have like a cutlery tax or a cutlery service charge. So everywhere we eat in Italy, they always have like, of course, a plate and fork and knife, and also napkin, which is, it's not like a one-time use napkin, but they have to wash it every time they use it, and they charge for that, and it's like around €2 per person. So like if you're eating something for €4, then you have to pay €6 because there's those charge, and that, I think that makes it quite expensive. But yeah, it's a good food. So
yeah. But isn't it worth it because we get bread every time we went to the
Yeah.
restaurant for free?
Yes.
So it's worth considering. They gave us a lot of free bread when we visited a restaurant there in Italy.
Yeah, but overall, I think the experience of traveling around these countries are amazing. We get to learn about the public transport. Of course, we have to struggle with that in every country. We finally learn how it works around there, how the culture is different from every country, and it's awesome for me.
Yeah, the transportational every country has their own thing. When we have to adapt, we have to learn every transportation, how to buy the ticket, etc. So yeah, but we still need something to discuss because we need to save some money. So how do we do that when we go traveling?
Of course, we also as a student have to save some money because we can't eat fancy or expensive every time. So the alternative that we use is that there's a lot of fast food everywhere in these countries. There's a lot of McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, and KFC. So we took that option most of the time, and I think we have tried KFC in different countries.
Yeah, but the taste is we more prefer KFC located in Indonesia because it has very, very strong flavor of this crispy and original taste. We recommend that.
Yes. Overall, I think the experience of traveling in Europe is really amazing, and I wish that we could do it all over again.
Yeah, I hope that we have this opportunity to travel just more than just Europe, but the cities that we're visited already are very mesmerizing and one of the best memories that we have as of now. So it's very, very awesome that we're really, really grateful to have this opportunity. So, to end our podcast today, we would like to thank you for watching this video, and I hope we can meet you at the next time. So, see you guys, and thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.